welcome on into another episode of Getting Well with Terry and Friends. I'm Terry, Ryan beside me, Nick down below, and we are ready to break down Tuesday slate. Obviously, we'll be focused with hockey, but we will have the other pick segment at the end for anybody else that has anything else. We will jump into it as we usually do. Take a look at the current show standings. Overall, up 26.77 units. Everything profitable currently, except the NHL, which is down a quarter of a unit. Looking good overall. NHL, yes, some of the people need to be switched around. I didn't update the overall standings from yesterday. I know I'm slacking. NBA, overall profitable. NFL, lost my best bet yesterday. Nick, you got your dog of the day. So at least that worked out since we were against each other. Baseball, a push for you, Nick, because the game didn't get played. College football, everything the same. And same with other sports. So that is currently how everything is going on. Hines to the Bills. Yes, it is. Trades are happening, obviously, in the NFL. Trade deadline day. So there's a bunch of deals currently going on.
Naheem Hines?
Can't remember his
I'm assuming so. Man, they really moved the needle there.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
There's a bunch of different trades going on. We'll jump into the first game of Philadelphia and the Rangers. In this one, you can get Philadelphia plus 200 to plus 225. The Rangers minus 233 to minus 270. Sixes, I do see 5.5 available in this one. And for me, I wanted to make sure of the goalie matchup before I pulled the trigger on this. But I did take the under 6 at minus 118 between these two. It will be Carter Hart against Shesterkin in this one. I'm looking at Philadelphia plus 1.5. I haven't pulled the trigger on that. I see it at minus 122, minus 125. If I can get it to minus 120, I might pull the trigger at minus 123, minus 125 after the show. But hoping to see maybe a little bit more money come in on the Rangers and then move a little bit more. But Philly plus 1.5 would be my lean, but I like the under 6 on this one. Carter Hart has just been stellar all year long. And Shesterkin not having his typical success currently, but that could definitely turn around in an instant. So I like the under 6 here. Ryan, Flyers, Rangers. What do you think here?
Yeah, no play for me. This seems like something's got to give. I don't think either one of these goalies has a regulation loss yet this season, so I lean to the under on this one. I'm a little bit bearish on the Flyers. I think they're not quite as good as their record, but I'm not playing this, and I lean under. That's all I got to say.
All right, Tim and IceX going head to head in the chat. What else is new there? It's kind of like me and Nick. Nick, Flyers, Rangers. What do you think here? You're muted.
Yep. I mentioned this on the show this morning, and I mentioned this on my Twitter page as well today. I said, heading into November, who's your pick to win the Vezina Trophy, and why is it Carter Hart? This guy's been stellar all year long. He's one of the best graded goalies I have on my spreadsheet right now. And I had this game projected for 4.7 points. I also have the Rangers projected for 2.2 goals. So this is a game where I played the Rangers team total under 3.5, expecting Carter Hart to continue to play well because he's slowly but surely becoming my pick for the Vezina Trophy. And I like the full game under as well. I can see this being a little bit of a low-scoring game in this matchup, 3-2, something along those lines. Maybe, as mentioned, neither of these goalies has a regulation loss. Why not a draw play? You could probably get a pretty decent price on that one there with the way these two goalies are going. 2-2, 1-1 heading into overtime. I can definitely see that there. So maybe you lean towards that draw I don't know what the price is for that one, but I like the team total under for the Rangers and the full game under.
All right. Yeah, I haven't quite had success with my draws. That's why I'm looking at Philly plus 1.5. Because yes, obviously it's not a big plus price, but if let's say it doesn't go to overtime and it's 3-2 or something, or the Flyers win, there's more ways to win. So that's why I'm looking at the Philly plus 1.5, but haven't pulled the trigger. Sabres are slowly catching your Bruins ice. Just saying, Tim. That's a little bit inaccurate, but okay. We'll move on along to the
The
next
hottest
game.
team in hockey, so I don't know what he's really talking there.
Yeah, we have the Vegas Golden Knights and the Washington Capitals in this one. You can get Vegas at minus 147 to minus 170. Washington plus 125 to plus 145. Sixes and 6.5s in this one. One thing a lot of cappers say, especially Nick, is bet your lines early because lines will move drastically. I got this at minus 105 yesterday, Vegas money line at minus 105. And now it's minus 147 to minus 160. Obviously, this isn't going to happen all the time. But as soon as I saw that Washington was playing yesterday and that they were playing tomorrow and that Vegas was minus 105, I'm like, okay, I got to bet this right away because that's not going to last long with all these injuries the Capitals have and the fact that Kemper went yesterday. So I do like Vegas here on the money line. I haven't added the puck line yet, which you can get from anywhere from plus 150 to plus 168. I think that is good value. Vegas 4-1 in their last five against Washington, so they've been playing Washington well the last couple of years as well. I think this is just an absolutely amazing spot for Vegas, and if you don't want to take the puck line, maybe Vegas in regulation would be another good a good bet. Ryan, Golden Knights Capitals. What do you think of this one?
So this was my favorite play on the board when the lines opened yesterday, but I didn't make any moves, and I still haven't made a play on this one. And my favorite play is the under on this game because the Golden Knights basically are this outlier in defense, and at the rate they're going, they'll be the best defensive team in the league, and they'll surpass not only anyone this season but anyone last season. They're really on a strong defensive clip. So I look to them for any unders, and I think this is a good spot for an under. I cannot find the 6.5. I know you've got some on Betstamp, but I don't have any available to me. So I'm waiting for that. I think it's a good look on Vegas in this game. You know, there's quotes about the Capitals and guys like Dmitry Orlov, like had 27 minutes the other night or last night. They played last night, and that's just not good. You know, it's not good when your best defenseman is on the ice that much. Carlson might be back, but they might be rushing him back if he does play. So I think that the Golden Knights could steamroll the Caps here. I don't have a play, but it looks really interesting. I like the under here.
All right. Nick, Golden Knights Capitals. What do you think here?
Yeah, I do see a couple 6.5s in this game. Betway, Proline, BetSafe. I don't know what Bet Victor. I don't have access to any of those books unless I would be on that line because I'm in agreement here with Ryan. I end up playing the Capitals team total under 2.5 and the full game under 6. I got it at plus 106 for the full game under. And seeing this team live last night, the Capitals. One thing we did notice is without Oshie and without Carlson, that power play looked lost. Other than that one-timer from Ovechkin, which from his office, that's basically an automatic at this point. They didn't really have much for offense. And it was really offensively just Ovechkin and Dylan Strome that showed up for them last night, being completely truthful there. But I'm looking at this game, and yeah, I'm seeing Vegas has been one of the best defensive teams in hockey right now. Logan Thompson's been great. I have a ticket for him. I think it was 15-1 to win the Calder Trophy. I think he's very live to do that if Vegas continues to play this way and they continue to be this good of a team. And I think that this is a team that's been based around defense, especially with Bruce Cassidy as their head coach, really driving in that defensive side of the ice. and I'm liking getting plus money with under 2.5 with the Capitals team total under here, and then the full game under 6. I got plus money as well. I see this like a 4-1 type of Vegas win tonight, so I see a shutdown type of game here.
All right, awesome. We'll move on along to the next one. We have the Montreal Canadiens heading to Minnesota to face the Wild. You can get Montreal plus 190 to plus 210. Minnesota is minus 238 to minus 260. 6.5s right across the board in this one. These two teams obviously just faced each other less than a week ago. Minnesota won 3-1 in Montreal. Montreal does not like to face Minnesota. I guess I'll start off with that. 13-1 in the last 14 meetings, going back to I don't know exactly when, 2010 or earlier, so the last 10 years. It has not been good for Montreal, especially in Minnesota. The Wild are have won 8 straight at home against Montreal. The last 5, 8-2, 4-3, 7-1, 6-3, and 7-1 Wild wins. So these have not been really close wins, and the Wild have scored a ton of goals against Montreal. So for me, Wild puck line. I also have Matt Boldy to score, and I will have Mason Shaw to score, which I'll be placing after the show. He is moving onto that line with Joel Eriksson Ek and Matt Boldy, Mason Shaw, and he has played really well for Minnesota so far. Goal and assist in his last game. So he has been playing great, and getting to move out with Boldy and Joel Eriksson Ek, I think is a great. You can get a great price for him currently. I think plus, I believe 575 one spot. So I like him here in this one, and most likely Wild race to 4 goals as well. I'll be on that. Haven't pulled the trigger yet. Ryan, Canadiens, Wild. What do you think here?
Yeah, this is going to be Montreal or pass for me. I don't think Montreal's getting much respect from the bookmakers here. At plus 213, it's just a really good. Seems like a good, in spite of the fact that they lost recently to the Wild. There's also no Hartman, no Foligno, so there could be, there's a slight advantage there. And the Wild could be looking ahead to the Kraken on Thursday too. So, but yeah, Montreal pass for me.
Yeah, I didn't mention Foligno and Hartman. Apparently, it sounds like Hartman's injury will be a bit longer term. Will be considered more long term, and the team's not yet sure about Foligno. Foligno's the Foligno loss hurts. Hartman hasn't played nearly the same as what he has done, what he did last year or the year before. But both of those players obviously bring a physical presence. So the Wild will be a little bit down when it comes to physical presence, but I think they'll focus more on speed and skill. So we'll see how that goes against Montreal. Nick, Canadiens, Wild.
One quick thing: the Montreal's 3-1 is plus $200 this year.
Ooh.
All right. We'll see. 3-2 after tonight. Nick, Canadiens, Wild. What do you think here?
3-2 is still massively profitable. But yeah, looking at this spot here, one thing that I was looking at a little bit here is the games that the Wild started going under on were all road games. At home, there was the first 4 games of the year at home. They went over in all 4 of those games, and they gave up 7-7, 6, and 3. I'm just asking for 3 goals here for Montreal. I took their team total over 2.5 at a very reasonable minus 110. I have this game projected. I have Montreal projected for around 3.57 goals. So I think that this could be, and my line for this game is around a 6.5 though. So I didn't see value on the full game over. I only saw it with the team total over with the Canadiens. That's why I end up going with them. Jake Allen's actually been pretty good this year. He's one of my better graded goalies on the on my spreadsheet here. About an average number is a 1. And Jake Allen's putting up a 0.765. when you look at his actual goals given up compared to his expected goals. That's kind of how I balance out because one thing that people don't take into account, which I learned from this last year, that with the expected goals is it's great those numbers. You need to apply what the goalies are, because you can have a team that's putting up crazy good expected goal numbers, but if they're facing a goalie that neutralizes that, you're SOL. So I need to come up with a component to really neutralize that. And I found a way to do goalie numbers here. So that kind of points me towards the Canadiens in this game at the team total over 2.5.
All right. The Wild are returning from a long road trip as well. So that
That's
is
not a
something
good spot either. Yeah. So I would lean towards maybe taking a shot with the big dog here.
I see 8 to 9 goals being scored here.
As long as
Yeah,
3 or
like
4.
Nick said, the first few games for the Wild obviously went over at home, but the issue with that is that was their first 4 games, and they had a lot of defensive issues in that. Yes, the last few games have been on the road, but that's not like didn't choose to be on the road type thing. So we have to see how it carries over in these next 2 games at home,
Mhm.
or they go on the road again, and see if they can pull out defensive efforts against Montreal and Seattle, which
Yeah.
won't be easy because both these two teams can score.
Yeah,
So.
and one thing that I will point out with is if we see both those games go over with Montreal and with Seattle, and then when they hit the road again, they start playing under hockey, the Wild can become a really good thing in the sports betting market called a predictable team that goes over at home and under on the road, or stuff along those lines, where you can find edges that way, where a team plays just a different style of hockey at home compared to on the road, more like they try to put on a show when they're in front of their fans in Minnesota, rather than trying to play a lockdown hockey game when they're on the road. So that's something we can keep an eye out for. If the Wild continue to play overs at home and go on the road and play unders, you can learn to bet it that way as well.
There we go. The Wild making people money. Sounds good to me. But we'll go on to the next game, Boston Bruins and Pittsburgh Penguins. You can get Boston minus 102 to plus 105. Pittsburgh minus 115 to minus 125. 6.5s mostly. I see 1/6 available in this one. Okay, Boston is an underdog here in this spot. This might be what some people might say could potentially be a trap with one of the best looking team as a dog here on the road. But I also look at it as Pittsburgh undefeated at home. Um, Pittsburgh obviously playing really bad right now. They've lost their last 4 games on the road, all by multiple goals. Now they're at home for 1 game, and they go on the road to face Buffalo tomorrow. So Pittsburgh has been absolutely screwed by the NHL schedule makers, and I don't like this spot or tomorrow's spot for them whatsoever. So yes, Boston's plus money, but if it's a trap, I fell for it. I took the Bruins today. I like them here to beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's just not playing well right now. Allmark is in net for Boston, which I like even more. And the last 5 meetings between these two teams have gone under in Pittsburgh. So there have been lower scoring games. I want to be surprised if we do see a lower scoring game, but I like Boston here. Ryan, Bruins, Penguins, what do you think here?
Okay, trivia question. Who scored the most goals in the league this season? Which team?
I want to say Pittsburgh or Boston, one of these two, because they're playing and we're talking about it.
It's Buffalo, but it's because Buffalo has played one more game. But Boston, in terms of
don't get Tim going. Now you just got Tim going. He's going to be all happy watching the chat here.
But Boston scores the most goals on a per game basis, and so I'm basically on that. I'm on the over 3.5, and I got plus 135 for over 3.5 goals for Boston. That just screams of value to me, and I want to ride this hot Boston offense. Yeah, there's a lot of injuries. Letang may be out. It sounds like I'm on some props as well. I'm on Jeff Carter is out for Pittsburgh, so I'm on Jason Zucker for a point because he's playing on the second line with Raquel and Malkin. But I'm on Boston team total over 3.5 on this game.
How is Zucker's health? Because he was just injured a couple he wasn't injured too long ago either. So
Yeah, I don't know.
this
But I see
Pittsburgh
he's
team
on the
is
second
just,
line.
yeah. Nick, Bruins Penguins. What do you think here?
I stayed off the side. If I had to bet a side, I would take Pittsburgh at home in this spot. I had this game projected for 3.75 to 3.49 in favor of Pittsburgh. So this, which led to a 7.24 goals projected total. So I played the over 6.5 in this game at plus 104. I saw this as a pretty good line. I'm not impressed with what Yari's done so far this year. And I think that the Bruins can score against him. And I think that Omar is going to be good, but he's going to regress a little bit. So I'm thinking we can definitely see a 3-3 game at some point in this game. So I took the over 6.5 and left the side alone in this one. Lean towards Pittsburgh though, if I had to bet the side.
All right. We'll move on along to the next game. We have the LA Kings and the Dallas Stars. You can get LA a plus 106 to plus 121. Dallas minus 128 to minus 140. Sixes, a few 6.5s available. LA is on a back-to-back. That's the only really negative thing about them in this spot. But I took them a plus 121 here on the road. And then I did sprinkle some on Gabriel Velarde over half a goal. Shout out to Babano on the Ice Guys for mentioning that. Every single game, Ian's been on it and he's been cashing, but he's their top goal scorer. So I took a shot there with that. But I like LA here on the second night of a back-to-back. They're just playing well. And Dallas, Ottinger's out for the foreseeable future. Within the next week or so, he'll be looked at again. So it'll be Wedgwood here. I don't like the spot. I think you're getting a great price with the Kings here as an underdog on the road. Dallas has had success though, 9-3 in the last 12 meetings. But I just think it's too big of a price with Dallas here with Wedgwood in net. Ryan, Kings and Stars. What do you think here?
Yeah, probably Kings are pass for me. We're not getting a bargain. The Kings aren't taking anyone by surprise at this point. They're playing really well on the road, and the books have priced it that way. And with Wedgwood in net, it seems like a pretty good bet to put your money on the Kings here. But we should be getting a plus 150 price. That's the price that we want to be getting for a West Coast team. In Dallas, I'm on the Gabe Velarde prop with everyone else. There's just too much value there. But I'm passing on the side in the total.
All right. Don't be mad, Richie. Don't be mad. Nick, Kings and Stars. What do you think here?
Yeah, here's your king too. Yeah, looking at this matchup here, going from Andre to Wedgwood is a significant downgrade on my numbers here. Which, if it was Andre, I'd probably not be looking at this play. But now that it's Wedgwood, I am going to be. I'm taking the over. I have this game projected 4.15 to 3.14 stars. So I'd lean towards Dallas in this game as well. Or I'd lean towards maybe Dallas team total over. Expecting them to be able to put up some goals against Cal Peterson, who's really struggled so far this year. He's actually graded out as one of my below average goaltenders. He has a 1.27 rating, which is not good. Still limited sample size for him, but I took the over in this game. I got it at 6. I have this game projected for 7.29 goals.
All right. We'll move on along to the next one. We have the Kraken and the Flames. You can currently find the Kraken anywhere from plus 186 to plus 207. Calgary minus 222 to minus 240. 6.5s right across the board. And this one, Calgary 4-0 against the Kraken last year. The Kraken have never beat Calgary in their short history in the NHL. And ultimately, I haven't got to anything on this game. I do have the Flames top line, Kadri and Huberdeau in a personal long same game parlay that I did with a few of the top lines to score. So a little lotto parlay. If you want that, message me on Twitter after the show and I will send it to you. But you can only really do it if you have certain books like Bet365. So I did a little lotto parlay there. But other than that, Calgary a big favorite here. Kraken a big underdog. Decord will be starting for the Kraken. Vladar will be starting for the Flames. If I was going to look at anything, maybe look at some Kadri props. He's been leading the team in points. I think we could potentially have a higher scoring game. I don't know how Vladar is going to do in this game, but the Kraken props, you can get really good prices on some of the Kraken props if you think the Kraken will score some in here. So ultimately a pass for me so far. Ryan, Kraken, Flames. Do you think the Kraken will get their first win against the Flames?
Well, I'm pessimistic. It's I had to do a triple take when I looked this up. Calgary has not left Alberta yet this year. They've only had one road game, and it was at Edmonton. So they're basically feasting, at home, and they're just going to continue to feast. I don't see the Kraken stopping them here. And also shout out to Ian Cameron. I'm on the Mangiapane prop as well. It's like it's clearly mispriced. He's on the top line and it's basically half the price of a point for Mangiapane. And I did 2 points for Mangiapane at plus 500. So the books haven't caught up to that clearly. So I think I don't have a feel for the side and the total. Usually when the Kraken win, it's an under, and when they lose, it's an over. So there's a clear trend that's going on. But I think the Flames win this game pretty handily.
All right, Nick, Kraken and Flames. What do you think here?
Well, one thing I've learned now is I have this game. The goalie is completely wrong in this game because when I made my spreadsheet yesterday, I projected Grubauer and I projected Markstrom, which I'm okay with the goalie switches because I have the over, and we're switching from what I think are downgrades in goalie. So I'm totally okay with that. I have this game projected for 7.95 goals. So I think I have this game projected as the highest totaled game of the night. So I think that's kind of an interesting there. I think there's some value if there's any game you want to take an alternative over with. I'd take an over 7.5 type of try to get big plus money on that. Let's see if Bet Online's offering, because I know that they do have it. Just it takes a while for it to. Yeah, you can get over 7.5 at plus 240. I don't hate that whatsoever because I have this game projected for 8 goals. So maybe a little sprinkle on a plus 240 there in that spot for me. But for me right now, it's just the over 6. Over 6 is what I got at minus 116.
All right. We'll go on along to the next one. We have the New Jersey Devils and the Vancouver Canucks. You can get New Jersey minus 112 to minus 120. Vancouver minus 105 to plus 102. 6.5s right across the board in this one. Kind of like the Minnesota and Montreal stat. Vancouver does not like to face this Devils team and have not for a long time. Devils 5-1 in their last 6 in Vancouver, 12-1 in their last 13 games against Vancouver. For some reason, these two teams just don't match up well against each other. The Canucks did win, so that one win, obviously, was the most recent game. So the Canucks did break that streak. The Canucks recently broke their losing streak and have since won 2 games. Will they continue that here? I don't think so. I really like the way the Devils are playing right now. And I have the Devils money line minus 115. They can get it minus 112 to minus 120 now. I like the Devils on the road here. They've dominated the Canucks for a long time. I think we see kind of the same thing here in this one. Ryan, Devils, Canucks. What do you think here?
Yeah, I'm mostly staying off this game. It's really hard to gauge this one. One thing you can say about the Devils is they may not have the best strength of schedule, and they've kind of beaten up on some of the lesser competition. So we're going to learn a lot about the Devils, I think, in this spot here. One thing, I'm on the Jack Hughes goal prop, which is plus 179, and we saw this with Kachuk earlier. When these two brothers are playing each other, they seem to play well. So we have the two Hughes brothers going against each other. But I'm no play on the side or total for me.
All right, Nick, Devils Canucks. What do you think here?
Yeah, I've been high on this Devils team for a while, or for a decent chunk of the season. I wasn't high on them to start the year, but as I've started to go through their numbers the last couple of weeks, this team is elite defensively. If they had goaltending, they would be a top 10 team in the NHL because they are number one in expected goals allowed this year. They are a team that does not give up many chances. They don't give up many opportunities. I do have this game projected for 7.79 goals, 4.33 to 3.46 in favor of the Devils. One of my favorite plays of the day is the New Jersey Devils team total over 3.5 at plus 110. I also like the full game over 6.5 here. I got it at, I want to say, minus 114, minus 101. I got minus 101 for the full game over 6.5 in this one. Two of my lowest graded goalies in this game as well, with Thatcher Demko and with Mackenzie Blackwood in this game. Is that Demko's confirmed, Blackwood's expected. Two of my lowest graded goalies on my spreadsheet here really jacked that number up with the goalie adjustments, bringing it to that 7.79 number. So I really like the over 6 in this game, or 6.5 at minus 101, and I really like the Devils to give me at least 4 goals.
All right. Moving on along to the next one, we have the Florida Panthers and the Arizona Coyotes in this one. I will bring up the current odds here. You can find Florida anywhere from minus 270 to minus 310. Arizona plus 225 to plus 250. 6.5s right across the board in this one. Matthew Tkachuk over 1.5 points plus 150 is my bet in this game. My first bet. I like him. He's been the guy for the Panthers. Now he's heading to Arizona, a place that he should be able to score some goals. This Coyotes team, obviously defensively and with goaltending, the Panthers, we should see some goals here. So I like Tkachuk over 1.5 points plus 150. And then I took another bet. I was looking at possibly taking a saves prop for Vejmelka. And then I went a little bit of a different route. I took Florida Panthers over 36.5 shots on goal instead. So 4 point difference. The saves prop was 32.5 and the 36.5 shots on goal. I don't want a scenario where it's a few saves short or something because of goals. So I'll just take the over 36.5 shots on goal. Florida's been getting 50 the last few games. And this Arizona team is not going to be able to keep up with the Panthers. So in the end, 36.5. If you can ladder it at different books, maybe go 39.5, 44.5 if you want to get ballsy. But yeah, I like the Panthers here. Obviously, it's really tough to bet them. So I have over 1.5 points for Tkachuk. And I also did bet a boosted parlay. I know how much Nick and IceX loves boosted parlays. Minnesota, Calgary, and Florida all on the money line plus 222.
All right, so big dogs winning tonight. Cool.
Ryan, Panthers, Coyotes. What do you think here?
Yeah, no play on the side or total, but I saw the same thing as you did, Terry, and that the Panthers all of a sudden putting up a ton of shots. And so I totally agree with you on shots or save props. But the one I'm putting on is Montour to over 2.5 shots in this game. And he's had 6 or 7 in the last couple of games. So So no play on the side or total, but there's going to be a ton of shots on the Coyotes tonight.
All right. Isaac says maybe Arizona Yotes team total over 2.5 at plus 104. Hey, if you think so. If you think they'll score some goals. Nick, Panthers, Coyotes. What do you think?
I don't hate that team total over look. Actually, I was looking at it a little bit because I do have the Coyotes projected for 2.95 goals, so I see a slight edge on that over there. Looking at this spot for me, I have this game projected at 4.23 to 2.95. So 7.18 expected goals in this game for me, which brought me to the over 6.5 in this game. I also was mentioning this during the ESPN show this morning, which you mentioned there, Terry. And I actually see it available now on my book where I can get over 34 saves at minus 112, over 36 saves at plus 112, over 38 saves at plus 140, and over 40 saves at plus 169. I am actually really interested in trying to ladder that tonight. I usually don't bet too many player props, but I mentioned it this morning, and I think I'm going to go ahead and make that a look that I'm going to go ahead and bet is the Kirill Vejmelka save ladder here. So I'm going to probably go ahead and bet that here in a few minutes. But I'm looking at Kirill Vejmelka over saves, and I like the over 6.5 in this game. I'll lean towards Arizona's team total over as well.
All right. Ryan, I didn't skip you on this one, right?
No.
No? Okay. Just want to make sure. Going on to goalie polls for the last 4 games that we did not discuss. I had some leans in these, but I did not pull the trigger in any. Ottawa, Tampa Bay, I was leaning towards the over. 7 of the last 10 meetings between Ottawa and Tampa Bay have gone over, and then both teams are trending to the over this year. So I was looking at the over there, did not pull the trigger. Islanders, Chicago, again, was looking towards the over. But for some reason, I know the Islanders have been going over, but when I see Sorokin in net, it's really tough for me to want to bet an over. So ultimately, it's a pass. I'm not going to force plays on a big card. So it's ultimately a pass. Nashville and Edmonton. Edmonton's had 7-0-1 in the last 8 meetings against Nashville. Nashville is not playing well, but ultimately didn't get to anything. And that one, Anaheim, San Jose, the lean towards Anaheim. At an underdog price, they're 6-1 in the last 7 meetings against San Jose, 4-1 in their last 5 games in San Jose. So they have been winning in San Jose, and they do look like a good dog. I again just don't like the way they've been playing. I do have one player prop parlay that I will give out for a plus 475. This player prop parlay: Jack Eichel from Vegas to get a point, Matt Boldy from Minnesota to get a point, Nazem Kadri from Calgary to get a point, and Jesper Bratt from New Jersey to get a point, plus 475 for those 4 all to get a point tonight. Ryan, goalie pull, these final 4 games on the slate. What do you think?
Yeah, these are my 4 primary plays of the day. So my best bet is Tampa Bay in regulation. I think this Arden Zub injury for Ottawa is more serious than to the teams than what may appear. They've also haven't won on the road this season, and they've lost a couple straight. So this seems like a good spot for Tampa Bay, and I think they win this. And at even money in regulation, it seems like a pretty good value. I'm also on the Islanders here, and just basically 2 teams going in 2 different directions. Islanders have won 3 straight. Blackhawks have lost 3 straight. Some really big wins for the Islanders. Beating that big 5 straight goals in that win against the Avalanche. And I like them in this spot. I think they beat Chicago. Nashville and Edmonton. I just don't understand this line at all. Edmonton has swept Nashville the last 2 seasons. Edmonton came off a really successful road trip. And I just think they roll here. I don't see why we're getting even money for a regulation bet in Edmonton here. Seems like a bit of a mismatch. So I love Edmonton play here, and I like San Jose. I haven't gotten to the play yet, but I suspect I will. It's later in the evening, so I get to decide. But San Jose is in a similar situation as Calgary. They're at home and they've got an extended home stay, and I think that it's a good spot for them. And Anaheim's frankly playing like dog poop. They've had a couple of wins this season, but they've basically been the league's whipping boy. And San Jose's played some respectable teams. They beat the Rangers in New York. They're basically a strong defensive team that occasionally has defensive lapses, and they sometimes struggle with offense. But I like them in the spot. Basically getting minus 120 at home. I think it's a good spot for San Jose.
All right. Nick, goalie pull segment, the final 4 games. What do you think?
Yeah, passed on the Ottawa-Tampa game. I had that game lined right at the 6.5, so didn't really see an edge in that game. Probably lean towards Ottawa because I think that this could be a spot where they are a live dog, but not enough for me to go ahead and bet it. I took the under 6 with the Islanders and the Blackhawks, and I know I've been after the last game for the Blackhawks, I was harping on this little streak they're on where they've hit the team total over 2.5. For 7 straight games. The thing is, though, they didn't play a goalie as good as Ilya Sorokin, which I have as graded as one of the best goalies in the league right now. When you look at his actual goal numbers and his expected goal numbers, he has one of the lowest multipliers or goalie numbers for me. So I took the under 6 in that game, expecting him to have a good one. Nashville and Edmonton, I took Nashville team total over and the full game over. I have Nashville projected for 3.97 goals tonight and Edmonton for 3.12. So I lean towards the Preds in this game. I think that they do have the goaltending advantage with Saros in that. So that's why I would lean towards Nashville in this spot. I do have it projected for 7.09 goals, and I got the over at a 6.5 at minus 115. So I saw a little spot there I liked. And then I passed on Anaheim and San Jose. I didn't see enough to go after it. I lean over 5.5, but wasn't enough for me to pull the trigger on it.
All right. Next up, BetStamp. Use code WILD in the referral code section. Do your line shopping. Find the best odds, whatever you can get. The book's available to you, and look at the different bets. Follow me there at Let's Go Wild Picks. Other picks and anything else anybody may have. I know we have college football. There's NBA as well. We have a baseball game going on as well, right? As long as there's no rain that I know of. So other stuff going on. Nothing else for me. Focused on NHL today. My whole focus has been on the NHL. So nothing else for me. Ryan, any other picks for you?
Well, I haven't been doing very well in MLB postseason, but I think this is a play on the Astros tonight. We've had sort of this dress rehearsal of this series that between the Phillies and the Astros in the last week of the regular season. And in that series, Ranger Suarez got lit up, and it was I think a 10-0 loss to the Astros. So I just think with that recent history that it's a good spot to fade him. We know the Phillies bullpen isn't as strong as the Astros, and the Phillies aren't as strong defensively, so there could be a defensive lapse that could help. So at a minus 120 price, I like the Astros tonight, and I think I lean over in this game. I don't have any other picks on any other sports.
All right. Nick, other picks, other sports, what do you think? Oh, you're muted again.
Yeah, my bad. One thing to look at with that World Series game is you mentioned Ranger Suarez got hit the last time he faced the Astros. That was the game after they clinched the division. Everybody was hungover and nobody gave a crap. So yeah, you're gonna get beat up on by a good Astros team when you don't care because you just clinched the playoff spot for the first time in 12 years, something along those lines. So I threw that start completely out, and I'm riding the wagon that is the Phillies' first 5. That is 8-2-3 during the postseason. It's made me money it's made me money betting at this postseason. I'm not going to stop now. And I don't mind your overlook. I took the Phillies team total over 3.5 at minus 112. I like the Phillies to win the World Series. I have them plus 170 to win the World Series. I have them plus 600 to win it in 7. So I do think that the Phillies take this game, and they've yet to lose a game in Philadelphia during the postseason. So that's another little tidbit there. That crowd's gonna be electric. I saw an interesting fact. This has nothing to do with the actual game itself, but every single time the Phillies have been or Philadelphia has made the World Series, Game 3 has been delayed by rain or postponed by rain. So I just thought that was kind of interesting that it always seems to rain for Game 3. But yeah, I'm on the Phillies team total over 3.5 and the Phillies first 5 money line. And then for other sports, I did take. I only have one play in the NBA, and I'm on the Phoenix Suns. I had that game projected at an 8.5. It's a 4, so I took it. I just saw a discrepancy in line, and I bet it. And then in college football, I saw a couple points of value towards Ball State. I saw a couple points towards the over that value towards the over with my projected numbers. I have Ball State team total over 28 and the full game over 62.
All right. Going Warriors Heat over. Dave likes the Warriors Heat over.
Oh yeah, he likes his non-conference games over.
Okay. Interesting. We'll go on to the best bet segment, and we'll start with over under. For me, Philly, New York Rangers under 6, minus 115. Nick, you're going with Ball/Kent over 62.
Ball State, Kent State, yes. Yep.
Yeah, tomato. Minus 107. Tim is going Chicago Bulls, team total over 116.5. Occupancy is going with LA Dallas over 6. ISX is going with Islanders and Chicago over 6. And Toller is going with Minnesota and Montreal alternative total over 6 instead of the 6.5, minus 140. Ryan, is there a total that you like today?
I'll take Washington, Las Vegas under, and I'll give out the one that I have available to me, which is a 6. So you can get under 6 at plus 110.
Under 6 for LA Washington or Vegas Washington?
Las Vegas, Washington.
Under 6. And minus 120?
It's plus 110.
Minus 120 is what you can find 6.5s for.
Oh, okay, sorry. Plus 110. Over under. Going on to dog of the day. For me, there was a couple of them, but ultimately I'm going to go with the team that I don't think should be a dog, and that's the Boston Bruins, plus 105. Nick, you are going with the Montreal Canadiens, which I think is plus 210.
Plus 220 on Superbook. I forgot to put in the number there. That's the best you can get is plus 220.
All right. Tim is going with Chicago Bulls, plus 116. Occupancy is also going with the Boston Bruins, plus 105. IceX is taking Vancouver Canucks, plus 102. And Toller is also taking Boston Bruins, plus 105. Ryan, is there a dog that you like today?
Yeah, I'll tell Nick. Montreal, plus 220.
See, you can't yell at me now for fading the Wild. I'm not the only one who did it.
I can still yell at you, Nick.
That's
because
fair.
Your dog is always. It seems like you pick your dog always to drive me nuts, or your dog always does drive me nuts for some reason. So, it is what it is. But we'll go on to best bets for today. For me, Vegas in regulation plus 109. Nick, you're going New Jersey Devils team total over 3.5.
Yes.
Odds to be determined.
Plus 124 on Pinnacle. My bad. I forgot to type in the actual odds. I was typing on my phone.
Good. Plus 124. Tim is going with Pittsburgh Penguins minus 1.5, plus 225. Occupancy is going with the Philadelphia Flyers minus 125 for the plus 1.5. IceX is going with Pavel Zacha anytime goal for Boston, and Toller is going with Vegas in regulation as well. Ryan, you said your best bet earlier. What is it?
Lightning in regulation.
And I will see what we can get for that.
About 110, give or take.
You saw minus 110?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'll get the odds for Pavel Zacha anytime goal after the show. But that is today's show. I said Nashville Predators. Did you? Hold on a second.
Ruh-roh.
Hold on a second. Vancouver Canucks. You said Nashville Predators? I thought you said Vancouver Canucks. I will check and see if I got that wrong. Yeah, Nashville Predators. I don't know how I got Vancouver Canucks in there. I'm sorry.
Unbelievable.
Nashville Predators. I'm sorry, ISX. My bad. As your dog, I got it. We're all good. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the content, smash the like button. We appreciate all the support. Best of luck on your bets tonight, and we'll see you all again tomorrow for another episode. Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. Best of luck, guys.